Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Walls. Welcome back to a brand new update video on the channel. Hope you guys are keeping well. I know it's only been a couple of days since my last update video, but weirdly on Tuesday night after I uploaded it, it sort of didn't blow up as such, but there were loads of pieces of news that have that dropped. And little pieces that I think are important enough to bring to you today, giving my thoughts on, as always. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, as well as hitting that like on the video and subscribing the channel if you haven't, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Before we kick off as well though, guys, it's great to welcome BetMate back as the channel partner once again. This weekend, they're giving Talking Walls subscribers the chance to join our free pot on the BetMate app. All you have to do is click the link in the top of the description and sign up. Use the code on the screen now to join. And basically, you've just got to answer 5 questions about the Brighton game coming up this weekend at Molineux. As you can see there, my answers. However, you do have 5 different entries. So you have 5 chances. You can put different answers for each one. So you could do 2 or 3 sensible ones. Maybe one with some crazy predictions. Maybe Totti Gomez or Manetzi to score perhaps. But yeah, make sure you join in. There's £100 prize pot up for grabs. And it's great to see as many of you guys in there and see if you can beat me in this week's BetMate pot. But link and the code in the description down below. But we had some big news right after I uploaded the video on Tuesday in regards to Ait-Nouri. Now, this has been a really big discussion. You may have seen our squad planning video that we released yesterday as well, and a lot of discussion was based around Ait-Nouri and Hugo Bueno. But a big exclusive that came from John Percy had said that Wolves are preparing to offer Ryan Ait-Nouri a brand new contract, with Vitor Pereira saying that the left wing back is pivotal for his plans. Very, very interesting. It's going to be an interesting summer for Vitor Pereira. Of course, Cunha is a likely sale. I think the club half expected that Ait-Nouri was going to be the one that was going to have a lot of eyes on him. But if Wolves can, if Vitor thinks he's important, which he has been in terms of his goal contributions this year, I think he can offer more as well. So this is going to be really, really nice if Vitor and Wolves manage to get this one over the line. It's going to be a decent contract. He hasn't actually signed a new deal since joining the club. So you would imagine his terms probably aren't that great anyway. So a new bumper contract for Ait-Nouri, I don't think anyone will be against completely. In the article as well, it suggested that if he was sold Ait-Nouri, then the club would look to buy out the sell-on fee that was included in the original purchase of the player. That's been a sort of question mark for a lot of Wolves fans, that when Angers, the French club, sold Ait-Nouri to us, they held a 50% sell-on fee. However, that is capped at £9 million, so Wolves could buy that out for £9 million if at any point they do decide to cash in on Ryan Ait-Nouri. But it said they want to try and find an agreement before pre-season, so hopefully as soon as the season's done we could crack on. New contract hopefully for Vitor, new contract hopefully for Ryan, and we'll see. Maybe Semedo perhaps. We'll wait and see, but it could be an interesting one. But Ait-Nouri potentially staying at the club is obviously nice, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on that. Harvey Elliott as well. This one's an interesting one. Weirdly, I suggested this. I think I mentioned it on a podcast a couple of months ago about potential players Wolves could look at, and he has been linked with the club. Now, TalkSport have jumped on this and said that Harvey Elliott is reportedly on the radar of a number of Premier League clubs, including Wolves. Of course, could be a potential replacement for Cunha. Not really a like-for-like player, but someone that can play, I would say, probably in a similar sort of role. It's always interesting with players like this who are obviously talented footballers, but just not getting the minutes at their respective clubs. Liverpool have had a fantastic season. I think he scored 1 or 2 decent goals. I think there was a really important goal in the Champions League that he scored, but ultimately, I think he even said it publicly, he's not getting the game time. Now, according to the TalkSport article, Liverpool are thought to value Elliott at around £40 million plus. Of course, a hefty fee. A lot of people, again, probably turning their nose up at this. I don't think this is an awful value for someone of his quality, and if you take into consideration the homegrown and English aspect of it. But it has been said, I listened to the Express and Star podcast earlier. They said that there's no doubt Wolves appreciate the player, but it's very, very unlikely that Wolves are going to be spending £40 million on just a single player in this upcoming summer window. You know, with the Cunha money, you have no doubt that 62 million will be spent on 2 or 3 different players if Cunha were to go. So Harvey Elliott, maybe a loan, could be an option for Wolves. I don't think I wouldn't rule this one out, but definitely for Wolves to throw that amount of money on a player, in my opinion, would probably seem fairly unlikely. And another player linked from South America, this time an Argentinian centre-back. It's the Vélez centre-back, Thiago Silveiro, just 19 years of age, just broken into the first team setup at Vélez there. He's got a release clause of around £8 million. It's thought that Wolves are going to try and prepare an offer for him around the sort of £3 to £4 million mark. But yeah, very youthful player. It'd be interesting. Wolves are starting to bring in these younger players. Maybe they're not quite first team ready now, but in the next 12 to 18 months they'll be ready. And you're buying Premier League quality players. We've seen it. With likes of João Gomes, I don't think he was quite ready initially, but we had like 6 to 12 months to bed him in, and then, in my opinion, now one of the better midfielders in the league. Andre, although had the quality, took him a couple of months. Maybe that was choice of manager, I don't know. But it's interesting to see if Wolves can bed these players in, get them in for lower fees. They come into the first team picture over the next 12 to 18 months, and I think they're worth a lot more money. But yeah, Thiago Silveiro, maybe one to keep our eye on over the summer window as well. And I'll finish off with Dan Pery, a person that none of us probably heard of before Sunday, and it's been mentioned on a fair few pieces of our content. We mentioned it on the podcast. I think I mentioned it on the last update video as well. There was a report from Alan Nixon of The Sun that has suggested that Dan Pery is set to join the club in the recruitment team. However, that has been quashed today. Again, on the Express and Star podcast, they said basically they've not said anything on it. They've not heard anything on it. And it sounds like it's not happening. There's not even been any contact between Wolves and Dan Pery. And I think it's all talks from Purdy's side and the representatives to maybe try and get a move along the way elsewhere. So Dan Pery to Wolves looks like it will not be happening. But that's all for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for my pre-match video, the preview for the Wolves versus Brighton game. Be sure to go and check that out as well. And make sure you go and check out BetMate, the link in the top of the description down below. Use the code to enter our free pot. And may the best manager win. As always, hit that like button down below, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll catch you on the next one.